Thank you, David. I want to highlight, first of all, some trends that became apparent in the compiling of the Global Guide. And then I also want to speak very briefly about how we compiled it. One trend that struck us very strongly is the expansion in sub-Saharan Africa of militant groups affiliated to Islamic State. These groups attack Christians, they attack government institutions and forces, they also attack moderate Muslims, and they're increasingly spreading into countries where Christians and Muslims used to live peacefully together. These regions are now experiencing the kind of violence that has beset Nigeria for years. We noticed a similar growth of extremism in South Asia, where those of different faiths had also coexisted peacefully in the past. In each of the South Asian countries in the Global Guide, extremists from a majority faith are intolerant of religious minorities, and Christians, especially in remote rural regions, are at risk of violent attack. This is typified in India, where Hindutva ideology promotes the belief that India is for Hindus only. This leads to an intensification of persecution. Another trend we noted is the increasing government control of religion that's particularly evident in Central Asia and in East Asia. And typical of this is the case of China, where the government's ever-tightening restrictions are part of a campaign to control all religions and make them subject to Communist Party ideology. We have also seen improvements in some countries, notably Egypt, where positive actions by President al-Sisi and his government in promoting religious tolerance and supporting churches have made a great difference to Coptic Christians. Reforms initiated in Sudan in 2019 and 2020 led to advances in religious freedom, including the abolition of the death penalty for apostasy, although there has been some reversal since the militant coup of October 2021. And also in the Middle East, a sharp reduction of violence in Iraq and Syria has led to some improvements in religious freedom, although Christians continue to flee both countries, often ending up as destitute refugees in neighbouring countries. Turning to the compiling of the guide, general population statistics were taken from the UN figures, but obtaining figures for Christian populations is difficult and sometimes impossible. In some countries, it's too difficult and dangerous for anyone to identify as and be counted as a Christian. Thus, we can only estimate the number of Christians in countries like Somalia, Yemen, the Maldives, Afghanistan, North Korea, based on data from local mission organisations and underground church leaders. In other countries, official statistics only count Christians who attend government-registered churches, not the Christians who choose to attend unregistered house churches that operate outside of government control. China is a prime example of this. Information sources we used include reports from international commissions and from globally respected NGOs, both country-specific and regional. In addition to these sources, Church and Chains has direct links with international partners working in countries around the world, including our 8 current focus countries, which are China, Egypt, Eritrea, India, Iran, Nigeria, North Korea, and Pakistan. To print the Global Guide, we turned, as always, to Keith Guthrie in ProPrint in Dún Laoghaire, who has looked after all our printing needs for many years. He can't be here today, but it's impossible to overstate his importance to the project. His patience and professionalism supported our work all the way. The other person we want to say an enormous thank you to today is the Reverend Trevor Sargent.